In this video, we will discuss a little about the history of the Muhammad Sultan. Muhammad Sultan was Khan of the Golden Horde in 1371 until 1379, as a protege of the Beglerbeg Mamai. While Muhammad Sultan was recognized as Khan throughout the territories dominated by his patron Mamai, he was in possession of the traditional capital Sarai only intermittently. In 1371 to 1373, 1374, and perhaps briefly in 1375 to 1376. Based on the early readings of coin labels, Khan Muhammad Sultan was long identified as a supposed Khan Muhammad Bulak. Muhammad Bolak, Muhammad Boljak. This identification has had a long influence on subsequent historiography, but has been disproved by recent scholarship, which established that Muhammad Sultan is to be distinguished from his successor as Mamai's protege, Tulak, Teljak, Joljak, Tegjak in Russian sources. The ancestry of Khan Muhammad Sultan is nowhere precisely stated, and some scholars have supposed that he was a member of the line of Joki's son Badu Khan, indeed a descendant of Ozbeg Khan. But the line of Badu is said to have ended in 1359 with the death of Berdi Beg, who had eliminated his close male kindred as potential rivals. A plausible alternative is to identify Muhammad Sultan with Muhammad, son of Abdul, son of Minkasar, son of Abay, son of Katimur, son of Tukatimur, son of Joki, listed by the Mu'izz al-Ansab and Turai Gazid-i Nuratnama. This would make Muhammad Sultan the son of his predecessor Abdul, also a protege of Mamai, and one of the descendants of Tukatimur, who are known to have settled in the Crimea, which was Mamai's power base. When Khan Abdul died in 1370, the all-powerful Beglerbeg Mamai replaced him on the throne with Muhammad Sultan, apparently the dead Khan's son. In the words of the Nikon Chronicle, "In this year, the Horde Prince Mamai installed for himself in the Horde a new Tsar, Mehmet Sultan." The new Khan was perhaps only about 9 years old. While coins began to be struck in his name at Orda, either a city or Mamai's camp, at the traditional capital Sarai, Mamai apparently employed his own wife, Tuluin Beg Khanum, the daughter of Berdi Beg Khan, as a stopgap ruler in 1370, 1371, before installing Muhammad Sultan there at the end of 1371 or beginning of 1372. The narrative and numismatic sources provide fragmented and sometimes contradictory evidence about the Khan's reign. Muhammad Sultan appears to have been recognized briefly at Sarai, while Mamai had Prince Dmitry Konstantinovich of Suzdal advance on Bulgar and forced the local ruler Asen to recognize Muhammad Sultan as his Khan. In the name of Muhammad Sultan, in 1370 Mamai issued a diploma of investiture, Yarlik, with the Grand Principality of Vladimir for Prince Mikhail Alexandrovich of Tver, although the Grand Princely throne was occupied by Dmitry Ivanovich of Moscow. Mikhail, however, failed to dislodge Dmitry of Moscow in both 1370 and 1371. It was also in Muhammad Sultan's name that Mamai gave trade privileges to the Polish city of Krak in 1372. More disappointment awaited Mamai, as his protege Muhammad Sultan was chased out of Sarai in 1372 by Uris Khan, a distant cousin also descended from Joki's son Tukatimur, who had taken over the former Ulus of Orda in the eastern part of the Golden Horde. Uris Beg was expelled by a Shabanid, Il Beg, in 1374. Mamai seized the city again and reinstated Muhammad Sultan later in 1374, before having to attend to the Lithuanian threat on his western frontier. Left to his own devices, Muhammad Sultan was expelled from Sarai once more by Uris Beg in 1374. These reverses eroded Mamai's authority over the Russian princes, and in 1374 Dmitry of Moscow refused to recognize Muhammad Sultan as his overlord and to pay tribute to the Khan and his Beglerbeg. Mamai retaliated, by sacking Dimitri's ally Novosil and raiding the lands of Dimitri's father-in-law Dimitri of Suzdal. On the death of Mamai's rival with Akron J.J. Cherksin, Old Astrakhan in 1375, Mamai was able to induce the new ruler of the city to recognize Muhammad Sultan as Khan. However, Mamai's subsequent attempt to displace Dimitri of Moscow through Mikhail Alexandrovich of Tver failed again. Atsarai Uris Beg was replaced by Kagan Beg, the son of Ayel Beg, who incited the Russian princes to force Bulgar into submission to him, rather than Mamai and Muhammad Sultan. Dimitri of Moscow duly availed himself of this opportunity for plunder, blocking Mamai's way and sending Dimitri of Suzdal and Dimitri Mihajlovic Volenskij to attack Bulgar. They met with success, forcing the local ruler Asen to submit to Kagan Beg in 1377. Khan Muhammad Sultan was present in Bulgar, and together with Asen had to plead for peace and pay an indemnity to the Russian princes. For reasons that are unclear, his regular coinage at Orda ceased about this time, although coins continued to be minted in his name elsewhere, at Kungur, until 1379. While Mamai was able to use the subsequent descent between the Russian princes and Kagan Beg to defeat the forces of Suzdal and sack Nizhny Novgorod in 1377, he suffered a defeat at the hands of Dimitri of Moscow at the Voza River in 1378. Mamai's difficulties and Muhammad Sultan reaching more mature years may have led to tension between them, possibly reflected in the Khan's absence in Bulgar in 1377 and the end of his coinage at Orda. Despite his embarrassing defeat at the hands of the Russian princes, Mamai still exercised complete control at the court of his Tsar, who controlled nothing by himself in the horde, and did not dare do anything before Prince Mamai. The Nikon Chronicle proceeds to relate that Mamai now murdered his own 18-year-old Khan and his supporters, fearing the people's attachment to him. Whether this was so, Mamai replaced this Khan with a new protege, Tulak, in whose name a diploma of investiture was issued on February 28, 1379 for the would-be Russian Metropolitan Mikhail Midjaj, on his way to Constantinople in 1379. Thank you for following our video. Don't forget to keep watching our video, and don't forget to also share, like and subscribe.